Hello everyone, welcome to VN Digital class. In today's class of computer organization, we will discuss the next type of hazard, that is our instruction hazard. Okay. So, before going to the instruction hazard, let us discuss about different types of instructions which is processed by the processor, or you can say the processor executes different types of instruction. Like when we write a group of instructions, or you can say when a processor executes a program, then it has to execute a sequence of instructions, or you can say the instructions written in a program, it has to be executed sequentially, but in some cases the instruction execution may not follow the sequential way. So, that is the case of branch instructions. That means when the processor invokes a branch instruction, at that point of time it may go to some instructions, that means the branch target instructions. I have already discussed about the branch instructions at the time of discussing our addressing modes. At that point of time I have already discussed, you can go through that chapter also. And when the processor processes the branch instruction or it invokes the branch instruction, at that point of time the PC targets the branch target instructions address. Okay. So, there are two cases where the branch will occur and another one is the branch will not occur. So, we divide one as the conditional branches and another one is our unconditional branches. So, there are two concepts or there are two conditions, and the condition is our branch instructions, so that the instructions has to wait for some period of time, or you can say to recognize what will be the next instruction. At the case of branch instructions, the processor has to wait some clock cycles. So, due to the inconveniences of the instructions, that is why it is called as the instruction hazards. So, let us go to the first type, that is our due to the unconditional branches. So, let us see how the instruction hazards takes place due to the presence of unconditional branch statements. Okay. So, let us go to the slides. So, this is the overview. So, whenever a stream of instructions supplied by the instruction fetch unit is interrupted, the pipeline stalls. That means when there are multiple amount of instructions, or you can say more amount of instructions given to the fetch unit, then at that point of time the pipeline may stalls for some period of clock cycles. And then another concept we will discuss, that is our cache miss and then branch instructions. That means the instruction hazard may take place due to the unavailability of the instruction in the cache memory, and next concept is our due to the branch instructions invoked. So, this is the three cases where the instruction hazard occurs. Then what do you mean by instruction hazards? So, pipeline execution of instructions will reduce the time and it improves the performance. Whenever this stream is interrupted, the pipeline stalls. So, pipeline execution, or you can say the pipeline is a technique by using which the instructions are executed in such a way that at a minimum amount of time, or you can say at less time period, we can execute more number of instructions. I have already discussed about the pipeline concepts, and by reducing the execution time of multiple instructions, and that is why it improves the performance of the system. And then whenever this stream or the execution of the instruction is interrupted, then the pipeline stalls, or you can say the execution delayed for some amount of time. So, next one is our a branch instruction may also cause the pipeline to stall. Okay. And then there may be cases, because in the instructions the branch instruction is also one type of concept. So, in the case of branch instructions, that may rise to a stalling of pipelining. Then the effect of branch instructions and the techniques that can be used for mitigating their impact are discussed with unconditional branches and conditional branches. So, we will discuss these instruction hazards in both the cases. unconditional and conditional branches. So, in this lecture we will discuss about only one concept, that is our unconditional, and in the next we will discuss about the conditional branches. Okay. So, let us see the conditional branches. So, the sequence of instructions are executed in two-stage pipeline here in this example, and instructions, that means I1 to I3 are stored at successfully memory address, and I2 is a branch instruction. So, let the branch target be instruction IK. Okay. And then here you can see the in clock cycle 3, the fetch operation for instruction I3 is in progress, and at the same time that the branch instruction is being decoded and the target address computed. Okay. So, here in this same clock cycle the instruction I3 is fetched and also the branch target will be calculated, and then in clock cycle 4 the processor must discard the I3, that means the instruction 3 which has been incorrectly fetched, because when the instruction 2 is going to its execution phase, then at that period of time, or you can say at that stage, the branch target address will be calculated. But as per the pipeline sequencing, when the instruction is in next stage, then the next instruction has to be in the previous stage. That means here when the I2 is in its execution stage, then at that point of time automatically the fetch unit fetches the instruction 3, but that is the wrong instruction which is fetched. Okay. But as per the sequence it is correct, but when we are invoking the branch instruction, that means it is not the correct instruction which has to be fetched. That means the instruction, or you can say the branch target instruction has to be fetched after the execution of this I2. So, the branch target address is calculated in this third clock cycle, and in the third clock cycle the I3 instruction is already fetched. So, the processor will discard the execution of the instruction I3 and which has been incorrectly fetched, and it will fetch the instruction IK. Then in the meantime the hardware unit is responsible for the execution step and be hold to do nothing during that clock cycle. That means in this clock cycle the instruction I3 will be in the execution phase if it is not discarded by the processor. As it is discarded by the processor, and in this clock cycle the fetch unit will fetch the instruction IK, and then that means in the fourth clock cycle there is no execution stage for any type of instructions, and then thus we can say the pipeline is stalled for only one clock cycle, and the time lost as a result of branch instruction is often referred to as the branch penalty. Okay. So, here you can say the time which is delayed, or you can say the amount of time of which the processing of the instruction is delayed. So, the amount of time is called as branch penalty, and in the previous example which I have discussed in my previous slide, instruction I3 is wrongly fetched and branch target address K will discard the I3. So, reducing the branch penalty requires the branch address to be computed earlier in the pipelining, and then you can say for the longer pipelines the branch penalty may be higher. Then typically the fetch unit has dedicated hardware which will identify the branch target address as quick as possible after an instruction is fetched. So, as in our previous example we have seen that at the time of execution operation or in the execution stage the branch target address is calculated, but typically the fetch unit has a hardware circuit which calculates the branch target address, so that after fetching one instruction it can automatically fetch, or you can say the fetch unit will fetch the instruction which will follow the branch target address, and that instruction will be fetched so that some wrong instructions cannot be fetched by the fetch unit. So, here you can say effect of a branch instruction on a 4-stage pipeline. So, here the branch address is computed in execution stage, and here the branch address is computed in decode stage. So, we will see that how we will differentiate between these two structures, or you can say what is the difference between the branch penalty amount, or you can say the time of the delay in the execution if the branch address is calculated in execution stage and if the branch address is calculated in decode stage. So, here in the first, here you can see the branch address is computed in step E2 and instruction I3 and I4 must be discarded, and the target instruction IK is fetched in clock cycle I5. So, here you can see the branch address is calculated, because here you can see there is the branch instruction. So, it is in the E2. So, in the E2 execution unit will calculate the branch target address, or you can say here I have already gives the name as the branch target is computed in execution stage. So, as this is the branch instruction, then the execution stage of this branch instruction will calculate the branch target address. And then, so in this clock cycle 4, as the branch target address is calculated, then the next address, or you can say the next instruction which will be fetched, that must be the branch instructions. So, here the instruction is our IK. So, it will discard all the operations which are raised for this I3 and I4, and then it will fetch the IK. Thus, the branch penalty is 2 clock cycles. That means here the branch is stalls, or you can say it delays the pipeline for these 2 clock cycles. And then reducing the branch penalty requires the branch address to be computed earlier in the pipeline. Typically, the instruction fetch unit has the hardware circuits like I have discussed in my previous slide. So, it can calculate the branch target address. So, in this you can see that the step, or you can say in this D2 stage, let the branch address is calculated. That means the branch address is computed in decode stage. So, in this D2 stage, the processor will get the instruction which is targeted by the branch address, and then it will discard only the operations of I3, because only in this decode phase, or you can say when the I2 is in its decode phase, then at that point of time only the I3 is in its fetch stage. So, it will discard all the operations of I3 and it will fetch the IK. So, here the branch penalty is our 1 clock cycle. So, difference means when the branch address is calculated in execution stage, the branch penalty is of 2 clock cycles, and if the branch address is computed in decode stage, then the branch penalty is our 1 clock cycle. Here we are using the pipeline of 4 stages, and then here you can see branch timing diagrams, and then we will see how the instruction Q1 prefetching is done. So, either the cache or the branch instruction stalls the pipeline for 1 or more clock cycles. So, to reduce the effect of these interruptions, many processors employ a sophisticated fetch unit that can fetch instructions before they are needed and put them in a queue. So, this is called as instruction queue and prefetching. That means before going to the fetch unit, or you can say before the instruction is fetched by the fetch unit, there are another fetch unit which will fetch that instruction, that is called as prefetching, and it will store that in a queue, and then the instruction queue can store several instructions, and a separate unit which we call the dispatch unit, and it takes instructions from the front of the queue and send them to the execution unit. That means at the time of fetching, we are using a queue concept, and there is a dispatch unit which takes the instruction, or it takes that instruction which is in front of the queue, and it will send that instruction to its execution unit. Okay. So here you can see it is the diagram. So here the fetch instruction unit is fetch the instructions, and then the dispatch unit also performs the decoding of operations, and to be effective the fetch unit must have sufficient decoding and processing capability to recognize and execute the branch instructions, and then it attempts to keep the instruction queue filled all at times. So, to reduce the impact of occasional delays when the prefetching instructions, if there is a delay in prefetching instructions because of a branch of or a cache miss, the dispatch unit, here you can see, so the dispatch unit continues to issue instructions from this instruction queue, and the fetch unit continues to fetch the instruction and add them to the queue. So, to be effective, the fetch unit must have sufficient decoding and processing capability to recognize and execute the branch instructions, and it attempts to keep the instruction queue filled all of the times, and if there is a delay in fetching instructions because of a branch or any type of cache miss, this dispatch unit will use the instructions which are present in the instruction queue. So, the fetch unit continues to fetch instruction and add them to a queue after the delay is complete. Okay. So, then the dispatch unit will collect that from this queue, and it will provide that instructions one after another in the execution unit. And so, here you can see that the decode unit has not to wait if the instruction, or you can say if the fetch unit is busy for some period of time, or due to some impact if the fetching operation is delayed. So, the instructions are already in the queue, so there is no need of the fetch unit for some period of time, and then at that period of time when the fetch unit is idle, the dispatch unit can collect the instructions from this instruction queue, and it will decode that, and then it will give that to the execution unit for further processing. Okay. So, this is all about our today class. So, in today class we discussed that how the instruction hazards is occurred due to the presence of unconditional branches. So, here we have seen that if we calculate the branch address at the previous stage, or you can say at the execution stage and at the decode stage, we see that if we calculate that at the decode stage, then the branch penalty is less. Okay. And in the next lecture we will discuss about the instruction hazards, or you can say the instruction hazards takes place due to the conditional branches. So, till then keep watching. Thank you.